We've been through a lot, haven't we? Doesn't it always feel like, when does this ever end? I'm going to talk about this. Maybe I can give you some clarity today and share with you some things that must happen for us to go into that space where life is going to make sense. And I want to reassure you today because we're going to go into that, let's just say, fun house. And the roller coaster is one of those rides. Click, 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 click. So today I want to address directly why everything will collapse and why that's a good thing. All right? It is a good thing. And I'm sure you probably know this, but you may be getting caught up in the collapse. I want you to think about stepping back, because when you step back, you will get an understanding of what we're about to go through and step away through the fear, break through it. Let me show you how to do that today. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. What's an amazing life? Well, I think we believe it is when everything's running perfectly. You're in love, you have everything you need. Maybe for you, it's family and friends. Maybe for somebody else, it's just traveling and vacation and exploring things. And well, that's great. And we have periods of that, but well, the truth is it never really stays that way, does it? But that's okay. I'm going to reassure you today what this is all about. And if you relax, you can go into that space where you're going to experience more of that and less of the insanity. So, as always, I would love you to subscribe. I am now shooting off of my computer because I ruined my camera. I dumped liquid on it, it's out at the water. As you saw, had a new camera with horrible sound, got a new mic, horrible sound. And here I'm on Zoom, and I'm going to keep shooting off of my computer because I want you to hear exactly what I have to say today, because we're going to talk more about what's happening in this transition and how we can stay rooted, stay grounded, because what you're doing actually contributes to that. I'm going to do a video after this on Tesla. Tesla believed that we actually were creating everything because we are one thing that is just a variation of frequencies and vibrations. Now, we know this. Why is nobody paying attention to this? Why are people not recognizing that they are in control of it? It's not outside them. So if something was outside of you, you would be what? Who are you if that's the creation that does things according to what you ask it for? That makes no sense. If you ask for it, then you must be somehow a creator. So, is there a power outside of you that makes it happen? No, it's you. But we separate ourselves from that because we are programmed to believe that we don't hold that power, and that's purposeful. This is the biggest task every human has, is to recognize how much we're programmed. Now, we are going to see collapses of everything. Why? Everything has to come to light at some point. You can't hide anything. I just watched a show called Rehab Addict. I just love the show. This tiny little, gorgeous little gal, she goes in and rehabs these homes and she restores them. Even if they've been redone, she pulls everything off to restore to the original beauty of it. And eventually the cheap stuff just doesn't work. It looks horrible. And maybe you can sell it, off to somebody and pass it off. But somebody will come in at some point and pull all that stuff off. And behind those boards, and this is what she does in every one of her homes, is she finds newspapers that have been stuffed in the back of the walls. And she found a letter. And she read the letter. And it was from like the late 1800s. And it was insane. And it was really the same stuff, the same conversations that we have now, right? Maybe just a different era. And I realized eventually those things will come to light. Eventually, you're going to find the buried bodies. Eventually, technology is going to reveal a lot of things that we can't hide anymore. Eventually, and this is already happening, we become such a global entity that we cannot hide things from one another. But at the same time, there's another side, and this is the collapse of things that's going to battle to stay alive is going to put misinformation out there and things that just aren't true. And with AI, it's so much easier to do that, to mess people up so that they get off track. We don't want to get off track. So I'm going to read this to you. What's going to go tank? The economy, all systems in place that have not been highest and best for others. That's health systems, money systems, how we earn, what we eat, what we do to our planet, what we do to animals. We disregard these things like it's no big deal. And I hear people, and by the way, I'm not here to diss anybody who eats meat. That is, to me, that's just a human thing, right? I don't, but that's a choice. But what I want you to understand is we're so conditioned to think it's okay to do certain things to animals and treat them a certain way, that they're not an important energy field like we are. So that's the difference. It's not that whether you eat meat or not, it's how are we treating every process, every step along the way. This is important. You got to pay attention to this. How you're cooking your food. Are you giving your kids crap from, boxes? Why? I didn't grow up on that. It was a big deal to have a TV dinner. That was a treat, eating the garbage. And my mom made sure that we didn't. Why? How did we get away from that? Because it became more convenient and financially, it was profitable for other people who don't care. Now, I remember somebody that was very good friends with a guy whose dad was super high up, and I won't say the soda name, but it's the big one. It's one of the big ones. Let's just say, I'd say it's the big one. And he got free soda for his whole family, for his whole life, and he wouldn't let any of his family drink it. That just blew my mind. That was quite a long time ago. I heard this and I said, why? And they said he knows what's in it. And it wasn't healthy. Yet he worked for that company knowing that other kids were drinking it. What about humans allows us to do that? Self-preservation, advantages, service to self, and disregard for everyone else is collapsing. Why? It's coming out, and people are saying it's not okay. And now I see what's happening out there with all these lies and cover-ups and all this stuff. And the bottom line is, well, if you tell us the truth, then we'll give you this. Why do we have to give anybody who has been, let's just say, taking the fall for what they have done? Why should they now get released or get any perks by outing everybody else out? How did that system ever come? Do you know how warped that is? Tell us where you put the bodies, and then we won't give you the gas chamber. Okay, what we're going to reward you for admitting to all these things? Well, we got to know where the body was, but this is so warped, yet we accept these systems. That's collapsing because now we're looking and saying, that was never right. How did that become right? Because we always making deals with one another. So, false security. What we believe is security isn't security. It's actually working against us. Well, if we arm ourselves enough, well, we know what happens. So I want you to think about this. If we ever had Armageddon, and I don't see that happening, at least not on some big scale, who are you going to go after? Are you going to go after some little broke farmer in a little shack? Or are you going to go after the guy who's fortified that has some serious stuff in his house? He's got food and he's got whatever else in there. Yeah, you're going to go with the person who is hoarding. See how this works? I want you to recognize when I say the meek inherit the earth, it doesn't mean they're struggling and suffering. They're actually placing themselves in a whatever situation that is at peace and accepts that this is going to go on, but they won't participate in it. This is what you must take a stand in if you want to be that person who moves into the next era of peace. You cannot participate in this. Those of you who are arguing, taking sides, calling names, what is up with that? I've seen all kinds of stuff and we think it's okay. We think it's okay because other people do it. It's not okay anymore. This will collapse. Now, we are in an accelerated karmic state. What does that mean? Everything you've ever done or you believe you did and got away with is going to show up in some form, not outing you or ratting you out. It's just going to show up in a way for you karmically to say, I need to come to terms with this, or maybe I've been lying to myself about this, or maybe I've made excuses for myself for doing that, and just coming to terms with the fact that maybe I did some stupid crap. We all have. And it never stops, by the way. Even when you become in awakened state, you still do some things because you've got a human aspect of you that's never going to go away till you leave this planet. Now, we can go into an awakened state that absolutely transcends the physical body. But then what's the purpose of being here? Then we've accomplished our goal, and that's what we're going for. All right. I want to just take a quick break and tell you guys I've got free stuff for you and new programs coming out to teach you how to be a responsible entrepreneur online, to break through fear. I've got free webinars to help you guys go into the state of mind and prepare for this. Why? Because we have to recognize what's going on and deprogram ourselves. Because right now, you're thinking a lot of things are okay that you don't even recognize are programming warped ways of thinking and life. It's okay to do certain things. It's okay to spray and kill weeds because that's what everybody does. It's allowed. We are in control. And when we stop the madness, we change the world out there that doesn't benefit from that anymore because we're not engaged in it. So we must step back from the entanglement of all of it. Now, this can be tough for some of you because well, this is wrong and they did that and blah, blah. Have we ever stopped any of it? It's still going on, isn't it? It's not that you shouldn't stand up for goodness, for higher frequency actions. That's absolutely the way, the place we want to go to. We want to be action takers. We don't want to say, I don't want to, participate. Me can hear the earth means I'm just going to sit here and let everybody take each other out. No, you say, who can I assist in this journey to help accelerate the positive aspects of things and the frequency that's going to keep us going into that golden era where we're going to place others first. And if you don't, you're going to be the wacko down in the basement, hoarding and hurting each other. And that's exactly what's going on. They're all turning on each other. And that will continue. And guess what? It's not healthy. A lot of these people are going to drop dead because they just can't take the stress anymore. Now their lives are ruined. They have this idea that they're going to go into these positions and get all the money and get all the minions out there to, take all their stuff and continue to be ill. And then what? It catches up with you after a while if we don't play that game anymore. And they think they can stay in that forever, but eventually somebody tears the walls open and finds the letters. That's just how it works. And those older homes that this little gal restores, they're built really well. And the other crap, she gets rid of it and she puts the good stuff in because she knows it's gonna stay, and it's beautiful. This is what we must build. The collapse, these things are just the buildings going down that were built on sand, that never had good foundations, that looked beautiful, but they really couldn't sustain the weather, the earthquakes, whatever's going on. And so now we're having to rebuild. That's okay. All right. So people are saying, well, this is going to happen. This is going to, I said, yeah, well, hello, give me any time in history. There wasn't some major crazy stuff going on. But this time, we don't want it to be conflict of good and evil and more conflict. That's still low frequency. We want change makers who don't go into that space of conflict. And they say, there's a better way. I have students in my Digital Explorers course that are creating beautiful things, just beautiful things, working in education systems. One of them is actually, she has a van now. You guys are going to hear more about her. I interviewed her on Orbs. Nikki got her van. That was pretty much a miracle. I'll talk about that later. And we put together a business plan where she's going to go cross country and be a creator on YouTube and take you to vortexes and call in orbs and interview people that do some mystical, amazing things. And she's going to live out her dream by doing that. We can live this way. All right. We don't have to do something that's some drudgery kind of job. And no, What do you want to do with your life? Now you focus on that, you become the creator that invites people into a new, beautiful world, right? And don't worry about what other people think because the world has always been a warped service to self thinker anyways. So why would you give that any credit? Why would you care what anybody says? You know why? Because you are absolutely perfect. You're perfect. You can't be anything else. This is the illusion that allows us to see that this horror that we can be is not what we are. It's an experience because how does it become horrible? How do we know it's horrible? If we weren't perfect, we wouldn't experience the horrible feelings and the struggle because we know the difference. Otherwise, we just go, this is great. I'm just gonna, kill things but we don't, do we? We feel horrible about it. That's when we know the difference. When you have loss, it's because you don't come from that and it's not natural for you because this really isn't your home. You are absolutely perfect. And in any way, shape, or form that you are, if people say you're crazy, say thank you. Because if you're sane, I'm okay with that. And again, we're not here to mock or take sides or tell somebody they're wrong. We're just observing their choices and making yours. Watch what happens. I keep talking about this because we're getting closer and closer to more things being revealed and more things on planet Earth that will happen that are going to shake us up. And we're either going to come together. Some of these events are going to bring us together. I know they do here in Florida. People have, pulled together. I remember going to my friend's store when I finally could cross the bridge after a few weeks. We weren't even allowed to go into the beach area. Sand everywhere. I've never seen devastation like that. And I got to her store and we just held each other and cried. And I helped her clean up. I helped her move all her stuff into, she owned a restaurant. I moved all her boutique stuff over with them and sorted it out and called a couple friends. And not very many people came over. I had two friends that showed up to work with me. And that's when you know who really cares, who's going to step up to the plate. And that's when humanity becomes so beautiful. And we can't experience that without the challenges. You can't experience loss without death or losing somebody that doesn't love you anymore. And then you realize it's because we are love. So when we feel like we've lost it, we know the contrast. So there are going to be some things that are going to challenge you to allow you to know these differences and allow you to make a choice within them. You're either going to show up and, get all dirty and put that store back together for your friend because you love her, or you're going to stay home and say, I got to protect myself. I got to make sure I've got toilet paper and food. And you know what? At the end, you're never going to remember that. In fact, you're going to be sick to your stomach when you realize the choices you made when you had opportunities to make higher ones. And this is what's taking us into the new era because more people are making the higher ones. It's going to shift the entire play here. And by the way, it's planet Earth. There's its own little play, right? It affects everything, but we have our own rules and things that go on here. You contribute to that, and it's tipping us into the collapse of that because we're not playing that game anymore. We're sick of it. And only the contrast and the struggle and the pain allows us to know that we don't want that anymore. Does this make sense? So once you know it, you think, wow, if I had no feelings about it either way and we just went about our merry way making choices, what would be the result? We would have imploded on ourselves already. But we're going toward what we are, and that is beautiful. It's perfect. It's love, unconditional. It's not separation, it's acceptance. It's observation without judgment. We have to end judgment is separation. That is what puts cracks in foundations, right? It's not cohesive. It doesn't work as community, so start working on it now. We're going to learn some more things that are going to surprise us. All right. Some of it may scare some of you. And for me, it's welcome. I actually like finally, these things are coming out and the world's going to look unstable, but it doesn't have to because you're already making good choices. My students at Digital Explorers, they're creating planet conscious businesses. Until the internet goes out, we're still out there talking to the world and we're offering things that are going to change people's lives. That's never going to go out of style. It's coming more and more of how we live. If you want to participate in that, come on over and check out my free stuff and see. I have a new program coming out that is a fraction of the price. It's called Fast Track. You can participate in it. You can get online and put your message out there and learn how to do it the right way so somebody's actually listening to you and learn how to earn money doing it. Because you got to pay your bills. Be okay with that. You have a problem mentally with what's going on. It's, you can't deal with it. Come on over and take the free Breakthrough Fear webinar and start to recognize I'm creating that story that's causing these feelings. I want to help you to put these two things together. How we function, that material world and the spiritual one are not separate. We have to live it all the way across. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I'm going to do a video here about Tesla coming up. Tesla was extremely spiritual. He believed in God and he didn't look at it as something separate. He looked at it as energy, as do I. I call it source. Some of you guys are uncomfortable with that. Call it God. If you think God is something separate from you, that's okay. You're allowed your own beliefs. And at some point, you'll realize, how can there be anything separate from that which created it? Right? That's okay. Whatever pathway you want to take, this is your journey. But I want to ask you, how is it feeling in here? How's it feeling? We're going to go more with this brain, this heart brain, than we are with this brain that is just wired to react according to its history. And I said, take somebody who's messed up, and I guarantee you their parents were, or somebody did something to them, and somebody did something to them, and them, and them. It doesn't just start with one person and you blame them. Show compassion. This person who has harmed you is in a really bad place. And they pay for that. We all pay for it. That's the karma. It's not punishment, but it's painful when you realize the decisions you made and we can correct it. So you are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I hope you guys will subscribe. The YouTube algorithms have changed. Some of you said, I sort of disappeared. That's YouTube. I have no choice over that. It happened February of 2025. It's affecting millions of us creators. We actually talk to each other in groups. And I don't know what to tell you other than I hope you'll support my channel, share my messages, because I'm never going to tell you anything other than you're absolutely perfect. You're the creator of all things. There's nothing that has control over you. Nothing. How can it have control over you if you are it? I am that. I am. It can if you allow it because you believe that. So now you have created that story that it has control over you. The physical world, yes, that plays out. Of course, you can be harmed, all those things, but none of that is chaos. There is purpose behind it, and you have participated in some way. I know this is a tough one. I didn't. I didn't. Who's I? I am that. I am that. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Again, go in the description. I have products of businesses that are holistic, no plastic, non-toxic. I have discounts for you down there. I have a water filter that you have a discount code to use that I use. Get that crap out of your water. It has all kinds of stuff that's poisoning us, and we go, oh, I wonder, let's cure this and cure it. And then go back out and eat the same stuff that's causing it. See, we are so programmed. Let's end it. Open your mind because it's beautiful out there, and so are you. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.